Alright, I am sorry it took so long, but these days it's dark when I get home from work, so it's kind of hard to come out here and shoot videos, especially when the car's still in the trailer. So, aftermath time. A lot of you, most of you, were able to guess the car that we took over to Amherst. If not, you've obviously seen it now, if you watched the video, or, well, here it is. This is the Mercury from the team show in Oshkosh in 2018? Yeah, in 18, when we ran there. It ran with my Electra that's way back there. And both of these cars just kind of sat this year. This one has the 305 in it that you guys watched Adam build. And we were pretty convinced that that motor was in need of some help. She was smoking pretty good. Assumed she had some issues, so she's just been kind of sitting here waiting to be pulled. Because we've got some other projects in mind for that. And then we were thinking, you know, we'd probably put a different engine into this car to finish it off. Well, upon further review, I came out and looked a little bit, and I was trying to figure out where exactly this thing had bent, because we'd never really looked all that close at it. And I'm not going to probably be able to get a very good view on camera. I can try from the other side. But basically, it bent, where are we at the boxes, right down there, on the other side of the frame. And the reason is, there's nothing left back there. It is rotted bad on both sides, completely gone. I wanted to try to find a place to plate, but there's just nothing left. I mean, we were allowed a 4x6 plate, and that wasn't going to be big enough to cover the holes on the inside of that frame. Every time I reached in and tried to grab a spot, it would just come out in my hand. So I got the feeling of this car wasn't really going to be worth trying to take this 305 out, putting something different back in to go and run it. Just not worth the time. The car's not in good enough shape, but it had a decent amount of back and left. So buddy was over here. We were actually trying to get the Electra running, and we couldn't get the fuel pump in it to work. So I said, hey, why don't we grab the fuel pump out of the Merc, because it's still in here. And while we were pulling the fuel pump, he said, hey, why don't you just try to start this one? I said, no, this one doesn't run. Well, we sprayed a little bit of starting fluid in it, and it fired right up, and it ran great. Didn't have any issues at all. It didn't even smoke. It shut off a couple times during the Derby, but I mean, it always fired right back up. It idled good. I mean, it actually seemed pretty healthy. Ran really good. Now, we also had a transmission leak on this 350 tranny, and that continued and still continued. But aside from that, unfortunately, I'm thinking that this transmission had other issues that we did not know about. We knew it leaked, but after putting fluid in it, you guys could see on the track, when I would put it in reverse, it would still go forward. And then it would wait, and then it would go in reverse. And then I would put it in drive, and it would go in reverse, and reverse, and then eventually it would go forward. Well, by the end of this show, I had no gears. It wouldn't go forward, wouldn't go backwards, and the training fluid level was still just fine. I mean, yes, it does have a steady drip, but not to the point of it should have had no gears. So I'm thinking this tranny may have more problems than we were originally thinking. So I got to make a couple hits going backwards, nothing spectacular, nothing exciting, and I got to make one or two going forwards. Again, sorry guys, nothing exciting, nothing spectacular, but you can see the angle here, even with the flat tire on the front, she is definitely tipped up pretty good. And that was after I pulled it back down and plated it the best I could. I did plate one spot on this side. I couldn't get anything inside here, but it was also bent here. So we plated that, and you can see where it folded over on itself. And there's a really good kink right there in the frame. But you can see kind of here too. Oop, point the camera in the right spot. this is all, like everything behind here there's just nothing there. I should have got a weld up on top here that would have held that part together a little bit, but I don't think any of that would have really made much difference with the kind of condition this frame is in. You can see right here where everything is separating. A pretty good kink there, all pulling apart. That part's, I mean, it's got some solid to it, but I mean, if you actually reach in here, it's, oh yeah, there's nothing really there. I don't know if I can get a view from up front. Actually, first off, let's walk to the back of the car. You can see where this completely ripped that driver's door once you started going up. Everything else pretty much held. We got to use the back a little bit. Bumper did fall off after the first hit going backwards. Haha, I didn't weld that one. That's an Adam weld. And she still came off. You can see this one's kind of curling up a little bit. Not too bad. It didn't really bend anywhere. This one actually, I must have hooked it in something. You can see, and that should be yayish, I would say. But it bent right there. You see that? Yeah. At the hump, so that's kind of an ugly area. That could have been fixed, but honestly, guys, this car's not going to get fixed. Took a little bit of the sticker off. It's just not worth it. Once we get the engine and tranny out of this thing, we are going to haul this car in, call it good. This was a very good learning experience. I don't know what a plan is for full-size cars. I mean, we've got full-size cars. Oh, don't paint up there. Full-size. We have them here. But obviously, I've said multiple times, my plan this off-season is to try to get as many W bodies built as possible. I'm in my work clothes. I probably shouldn't be. You're not going to really be able to see how bad it is under there, but you can take my word for it. She is crusty on the inside of that frame. This side was just as bad. You can see, I mean, obviously this one's actually not bending over here where it did on the other side, so it's still going right on the other side of this frame, right at the firewall. You can kind of see where it's pushed itself up into the frame. It sucks that she was in that condition, but you know, this is really the first built full-size car that we did. Everything else has just been running stock Ford engines. Now this is the first car that we actually put an engine and transmission in ourselves. So it's got a lot of positive. Obviously, I think we learned a ton, and obviously we know what to look for on these bubble-style Ford products. Not just looking at the frame on the outside, but making sure that you can reach back and make sure that the inside of those boxes is clean as well. Or if they're not, at least know that ahead of time and only drive the damn car backwards. Because obviously you guys know that we're perfectly willing to run rusty, crusty, ugly, but really if I'm going to do something like that, I'd prefer it be on just a chain and go, you know, stock full size. I mean, I would totally run the 4.6 in one of these things again. I've placed with that engine before, but then you're not putting the time and effort into really, you know, building a car. We've got a very nice bolt-in cage in here. That'll come out. I'm going to take a closer look at that car back there. It does not run. That engine is locked up. So I'm going to look at the spot that bent here, and if that car is okay, I believe this cage should fit in there just fine. This tranny's got a decent shifter on it. Obviously, we'll be able to take, you know, bumper and threaded rod and the window braces and everything. This car's got a lot of good left to it. Unfortunately, the frame is just not. So there it is. Final aftermath of the Merc that I took over to Amherst to run with Crash Crazy Motorsports. Hope you guys had fun watching the rest of the show in the snow and crap and ugly, and it was a good time. But I got other stuff to work on, so I'm going to go shoot some more videos for you guys. We appreciate you following along as always. Get goosed.